morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi, here in Yerushalyim and Hakodesh. Located on number 6 of the Rehov Zikron Yaakov in the Beit Knesset of Chanukah Yeshiva. This is our first year. We're just getting ready for Purim a couple of days. I'm going to be traveling for the next week. I'll be back in a week's time. So Rav Tulia Katzman will be substituting Bez Hashem for me for the shiurim in the morning. And now we continue with our preparations for Purim. With the Pele Yoetz, we have our sheet, the basic middle section with the title Yayin, something which is very relevant to Purim. Rachi, you'd like to be in reading?
Okay. Ketiv, the Mishlei, Tira Yain Ki Yedom. Yedem, Yedom.
Peirush, we will go more, we'll explain what it means.
Pershua Zichron Lecha Sanhedrin, Shachrito Dam.
Shachrito Dam, meaning in the end there'll be blood, right? So it says, don't, Al Tira Yain Kis Adam, don't look at the wine because you'll become literally red. So that means, as the Gemara said here and says, you'll become, in the end, there'll be blood.
Shachrito Dam, Shemabe Evrot.
Shemar Ba'averos. He's going to be Mar Ba'averos. He'll be having an increase in his Averos.
Matia Surin is making of things that are forbidden.
Yayin does a lot of things. Yayin has a tremendous koyach that it can do a lot of things. Right? A person eats a candy bar. He's not that much different than he is when before he ate it. What changed?
The joy in his heart, the rush of the sugar, his whole persona changed.
Okay, so to some extent, right? To some extent, right? Definitely, there's everybody's got something. He likes chocolate milkshakes. Puts him in another frame of mind. That's right. Everyone has something that they like, which is important. One of my rebbes once taught me that we see the care that the Hakodesh Baruch Hu has for us. Because why? Because it's true, Hashem really wants us to sit and learn Torah. That's the ikar. That's the main principal activity we should be involved with in this world. But if that was the absolute and only thing that we needed to do, right? So the Hakodesh Baruch Hu didn't have to create us with color vision. It's enough to see black and white. You look at a Sefer Torah, everything's black and white. You look at a page, right? Black and white. So in fact, the Hakodesh Baruch Hu made a world of colors, so he's making those things for us to enjoy. Right? So aside from the fact that we have to learn Torah, and it's enough black and white to do that, there's still a great, wonderful world that we have to take part in and enjoy it in the proper way. That's the whole choice. The Chassan Sofer in his Parish in Megillah, the Gemara there explains that the primary avoda that a person has to do is the world is filled of many, many more things that he can ever possibly get pleasure from. And his job is to pick from those things he's going to get pleasure from. Those things which are permissible to do and in the proper time, in the proper place, in the proper amount. And of course those things which are not permissible, he has to stay away from. That's the primary activity that a person has in this world. And Purim is very much similar. Encapsulated into Purim is that exact same choice. You have the Shulchan Aruch is openly suggesting that you can get drunk. Openly suggesting you can get drunk. And now at the other end of the spectrum, we have to be very careful about Netilas Yadayim, Mincha, Ma'ariv, Birkas Hamazon, right? Not to say things that are silly, stupid, or harmful, not to damage anybody, not to damage yourself, right? So, and that's basically the world in encapsulation. The cosmos of the world in miniature is Purim. So we have the opportunity to use the wine to uplift ourselves in a very great way. It's unachievable even on the greatest days like Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, right? But nevertheless, if it's used in the wrong way, then it could be, as Chazal telling us, Shagri, excuse me, Prisakadam, Shemar Barberus, Mata Surin. Vaharbe Yainosa, wine does a lot. Just like this world can do a lot. Wine is like a for a Schreiber, my Rebbe used to say that through Yurtza is coming up in a couple of weeks, that Yain is synonymous with Olam Hazeh. What wine can do to a person, Olam Hazeh can do to a person also. Can take him very far from the road and what he's supposed to be doing and bring to tremendous disasters.
What's Olam Hazeh?
This world. Literally, Olam Hazeh. Hazeh means this. Olam Hazeh, this world. This physical world that we're in right now. As in contrast to Olam Haba. Haba means to come. Olam, the world to come.
So wine is like
Olam Hazeh.
this world.
Right. Wine is similar to this world in the fact that just like this world can do a lot of things, and you can achieve quite a lot with this world, if you do it according to the way the Torah wants you to live your life, you can achieve a lot. Nevertheless, if you misuse this world and your adventures in this world, then you can wind up in very bad places, Hashem. So that's this world, and that's one. You have to continue. So Harbi Yain also. Yain does a lot. Yain is very powerful. It has a lot of different ways that it can affect a person.
Okay. הרבה יין עושה, והן אמת שיש תועלת ביין. There is a benefit to wine, ששותה אותו כשורה. Not to over-exaggerate.
There's a benefit in wine when it's drunk in the proper way. You should drink wine in order to, as that medrash we were spending a lot of time last week. A person starts off as a lamb, then he progresses to being an Ari, right? And if that he's an Ari, he can become a lion if he's drinking wine properly. Wine gives that person that self esteem and self-confidence that most people usually may not have to the full extent. It gives a person a sense of euphoria, a sense of completeness, perfection, and he can accomplish a lot with that, right? If it's done in the proper way.
Yeah.
There's more here. And right here in the second paragraph.
זה מה שיש תועלת ביין. ששותה אותו כשורה. You drink it properly. כמאמר ותים זוכרון לברכה שמור זכה שותהו כשורה משמחי שמחו ונעשה ראש. If he married it and he drank it properly, משמחי will make him happy and will make him Rosh, the head.
That's the Rosh. He'll become a leader, right? Because that's sometimes people, because of various different factors, their lack of self-confidence, their inhibitions, so they don't always do, right, what they are really capable of doing, right? So wine gives the person the power to go ahead and do what he's really capable of doing, which he might necessarily be inhibited to do in a normal circumstances. So therefore, if a person's going to drink wine properly, he'll be able to get a little boost, and he'll be able to achieve.
וכדאמר רבא, חמרה וחני פיחין. Wine and bosom make wise, or make smart.
Right. So Rabbi himself said that he felt the difference, the sharpness that the effect of wine gave to him.
אבל לפי הנזק שנמשך ממנו, according to the damage that is caused by it, שדעתו של אדם קרובה, התפתות בו, the knowledge of a person is near to becoming seduced by it. So the tzet min hashura, and to go off from the norm.
So there is a downside. There is a side effect, right?
Side
Side effect. There's a side. Hanezik shinim shal hanezik. There's a side effect to the wine. Just like you look, person takes any medication, you'll read on the back of the package or the paper that's put in with the medication. There's certain side effects. So wine also has a side effect, right? His das, meaning his intelligence, his mind, his intelligence is very easily convinced about things, yeah? As you said very well, it's tempted, it's seduced by things. But let's say Smini and Shura, he loses his correct judgment, right? That's what they say. A person, his judgment is off, right?
אפילו אם ילד לעתים רחוקים, תביא את לעתים רחוקים, הרי הפסד יתר על השבח.
So even if a person eating l'chokim, he's only gonna do it once in a while. Every Rosh Chodesh he has a Suda Rosh Chodesh, and he takes out a couple of bottles of wine, and he parties. Nevertheless, hefsid yosim min hashevach. There's the disadvantages that are greater than the advantages. So wine's something you have to be very careful with. Okay. Next paragraph.
ומי ייתן ויחיה לבבם, it should only be של כל העולם כי לבב ונדב בן רכב, שכל העולם כי לבב ונדב בן רכב יחוסו על זרעם. This is somebody, I know who this is.
Yeah, well, I'll explain.
יחוסו על זרעם ועל הדורות הבאים אחריהם.
Chokso al-Zoram, he had compassion, he cared about his offspring and on the generations which would follow after him.
שמא יהא בניהם אנשים שאינם בנים.
He thought that there would be people coming out of his generations that may not be so proper.
שלא ידעו שזה בשתייה, that they wouldn't know how to act properly with shtiya. Be careful with shtiya, v'yitzur min hashura. Do proper things.
Right. This was a person. He was a person who was afraid that in the generations that he would have in his family, right, that people would be abusive of wine. He was afraid that they would abuse wine.
היה ראוי, it was proper, שכל אדם יחוש על זה. The person should be aware of this, be concerned with this. אז ויצווה את בניו, will command his children, ואת זרעו and his seed, אחריו after him, בכל תוקף, שלא לשתות יין בכל מידי משכר. Not to drink wine and to drink anything that makes a person drunk.
Right, so we should take a lesson from Nadav ben Rechev, that he commanded his family that they shouldn't be drinking, and they shouldn't get involved with drink and getting drunk. So therefore everyone should take a lesson from this, and they should warn and command his family and everyone and all his generations that in the strongest way possible, they're not to drink wine. We call it eating mishtakir. They're not to get involved. Don't get involved with wine and things that get you drunk.
Why do you tell them all to be Nazirim? They don't drink wine.
No, so for Kiddush we want to take wine, and for other things we want to take wine. So he didn't want them to become Nazirim.
First of the ayah, בכל מידי משכר. כצוות בן רכב, במיהו.
Yeah, that's a pasuk that's brought down in Yirmiyah. So he's brought down in the Dami quotes him and makes a good example of him. that he cared about his family and he told them the truth. Don't get involved with these things.
או יצלם לשתות במידה, or he will command them to drink in a measure, במשקל, או בשורה.
Right. Meaning, even on a day of Purim, you have to tell people that there's a way to drink and there's a way not to drink. You tell them, you want to enjoy the day, you want to enjoy the drinking. You look. Like we learned in Medrash, the chassid and his father was wallowing in the Bowery, in the mud, and the filth.
Yes, where's the bar?
Where's the bar, right? Where's the bar? It says, you don't want to turn out. You don't want to be like. You don't want to turn out to be like that. That's not a Purim, right? That's not a Purim. It's not even a Tisha B'av.
כן. ישימו קצבה. קצבה. באופן שלא יהיה חשש של צור משורה.
You don't want them to go Yotzei Minishra. They don't want them to go off the derech. You don't want them to stay on the straight and narrow. You want them to be proper under all circumstances. So they shouldn't get involved with drinking a lot.
למה לא נמצא בעולם מי שיחוש לזה כי אין מורדה בן רכב? לא ראינו...
Meaning the fact that the Navi is praising him and singling him out was seeming like that he was an unusual character. He was unique in this. Right? If everyone was doing it, wouldn't be any reason to single him out. So the question is, why did it seem to be that he was the only one doing such a thing like that? Why was he the only one? Even by Eov, you take a look by Eov, it says that is at the very beginning of Eov, it says that they would have feasts, Eov and his family, his sons and his daughters and the families, and they would be having meat and wine, and they'd be drinking. Now, I'm not saying they were getting drunk and things like this, but it wasn't something which was done in the same way as Yinadev ben Rechev.
לא ראינו ולא שמענו מי שעשה כמעשיו. We didn't hear, we didn't see, we didn't hear me, someone that does like him. ועמדה הוא Tsama. כי מי שהוא זה ערב אל ליבו, שיהיו בניו וזרעו שומעים וכל השומרים מצוותו.
I mean, the question is, why is he seemingly the only one who did such a thing like this? The reason seems to be, Kimi who's Orav Alibo, who's the one that's going to have this pass over his heart, that Shiyabana Vizaro Shoimim Bekoilo Shoimim Mitzvosav, meaning he was confident that his children, his offspring, would be following and listening to him, right?
נמצא שמכשירן will cause them to fail or לעתיד לבוא in the future. בעשור מוסיף שיהיו עוברים על מצוות אביהם וכך ימנעו מצוותם.
Meaning, if there's an important principle here, meaning most people realize that they're not going to, if they tell them these things, they're not going to listen, right? So if you know they're not going to listen, and you tell them something you know they're not going to listen to, it's even worse, because now it's not only something that they're doing which is intelligently wrong, common sensely wrong, but now if their father told them something, go ahead against the father's word, now they're going over the father's word as well, which is worse, which is the worst type of avera. To transgress the word of the father is a terrible thing. So therefore, if you know that they're not going to listen, right? So it's better not to tell them. So he was a person. Nidada ben Rechev was a person, obviously, that knew his children would listen to him. So therefore, he told them.
Would we call that lifnei iver?
Yes, in certain respect, it's lifnei iver. Yep, certain respect, correct. Yeah. Okay, Rak Zu Mitzvah. Go ahead.
רק זו מצוות כל אדם על עצמו לגדל בעדו לשום קצרה בעניין השתייה, ויקבל עליו בכל תוקף שלא יעבור בשום פעם.
So he's saying something very, very, he says the mitzvah on everybody that he should gader ba'ado, he should make a fence for himself. The same kitzvah, he should set a limit. He should set a limit to his drinking. You just don't, even could be by Purim, like, you know, like you say, okay, it's going to be a bottle and a half, you know, 2 cups, whatever it's going to be, but you set that limit, and that's it. And, you know, because again, there's a big question whether or not, you know, look, if you think that 3 cups is going to do it for you, and if it doesn't do it for you, so okay, you tried your best, right? Right? You know, okay, 3, 4, 5, right? Maybe 6. So the person's there's no limit, but a person sets his, and he should keep to his limits. And that's in general. Purim might be a little bit different, but certainly during the regular course of the year, or even Shabbos or Yom Tov, yeah, so you want to have a couple, 2, 3 cups of wine. Okay, so you have 2, 3 cups of wine, but that's it. Then what do you do? A friend comes over and, you know, why you're not drinking with me? You know, I came over and you don't want to drink with me. So I said, I reached my limit already. You know, my limit's my limit. You know, it's hard to say sometimes.
Start again.
Yeah. But it's a good eitzah. It's a good eitzah. Set a limit. Don't just like drink haphazardly. Okay.
ויקבל עליו בכל תוקף שלא יעבור בשום פעם בגבורה שתהיה יראת השם על פניו תמיד. Let's say that the יראת השם will be on his panav always.
Countenance, right?
Countenance. ולא תצא תקלה מתחת ידו. ולא שום דבר שלא מתוקן.
There won't be any damage done through him, and there won't be anything which is not proper done through him.
אבל מן העצה טובה שהשיעור הנכון שישתה 2 כוסות סעודה אחת ולא יעבור 2 cups in a meal, 1 meal, and no more than that.
So he's giving you is practically a regular meal. He's not necessarily talking about Purim. Regular meal, 2 cups. Shabbos meal, for lunch or something like that, whatever. Okay, 2 cups.
ושימו הדבר שניים דרך ארץ.
The simon davar, right? The simon. This. How do you remember that 2 cups is going to be your limit? Simon davar shnayim. The simon to remember this is shnayim derech eretz. 2 is derech eretz. It's a gemara, meaning a person drinks twice, 2 times. That's derech eretz.
I mean 2 cups?
Yeah, 2 cups. Well,
Yeah,
that
2 bottles also.
no. Yeah, the Gemara is not necessarily talking about. I'll look up the Gemara together.
No? Still.
Take a
3
look.
kills away. For him, l'chaim. 2 bottles.
Yeah.
Right. It's a lot. והכל לפי מה שהוא אדם. חזק הוא הרופא. Strong or weak. לפי דעת בזמן, עדין חדווה ועדין עציבותה, יוכל לעבור מעט מן השניים, כל מעשיו יהיו לשם שמיים.
Right, so yochol lavur ma'at minishtai, meaning, okay, depending, you're able to go a little bit more than the 2, meaning if you know, but everything according to the situation, and it should be l'shem shemayim, meaning he's telling you on one hand he's being very straight with you and strict with you that you should stick to a certain limit and don't ever go over the limit. And you say, you make yourself up. I'm not going to ever drink more than 2 cups in a meal. But he says, in the end, he says, look, if your friend comes over all of a sudden, you can't, so you have another half. So, yeah, that's something which is good to remember on Purim as well. A person should set his limits, he should realize where the wine is going to take him, and he should prepare for it, Mitzvah Shem. Okay, we'll continue with the next year, Mr. Green.